Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation is Sri Rag Mahalla Tija. Maya moh mere Prabh Kina, ape bharm ਭੁਲਾਏ, ਮਨਮੁਖ ਕਰਮ ਕਰੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੂਝੈ, ਬਿਰਥਾ ਜਨਮ ਗਵਾਏ। ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਇਸ ਜਗ ਮਹਿ ਚਾਨਣ, ਕਰਮ ਵਸੇ ਮਨ ਆਏ। ਮਨ ਰੇ ਨਾਮ ਜਪੋ ਸੁਖ ਹੋਏ, ਗੁਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਸਾ ਲਾਹੀਐ, ਸਹਿਜ ਮਿਲੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸੋਏ ਰਹਾਓ। ਭਰਮ ਗਿਆ ਭਉ ਭਾਗਿਆ, ਹਰ ਚਰਣੀ ਚਿਤ ਲਾਏ। ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਕਮਾਈਐ, ਹਰ ਵਸੈ ਮਨ ਆਏ। ਘਰ ਮਹਿਲ ਸਚ ਸਮਾਈਐ, ਜਮ ਕਾਲ ਨ ਸਕੈ ਖਾਏ। ਨਾਮਾ ਛੀਬਾ ਕਬੀਰ ਜੁਲਾਹਾ, ਪੂਰੇ ਗੁਰ ਤੇ ਗਤ ਪਾਈ। ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਕੇ ਭੇਤੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਪਛਾਣੈ, ਹਉ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਤ ਗਵਾਈ। ਸੁਰ ਨਰ ਤਿਨ ਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਗਾਵੈ, ਕੋਇ ਨ ਮੇਟੇ ਭਾਈ। ਦੈਤ ਪੁੱਤ ਕਰਮ ਧਰਮ ਕਿਛ ਸੰਜਮ ਨਾ ਪੜੈ, ਦੂਜਾ ਭਾਵ ਨ ਜਾਣੈ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਭੇਟਿਆ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਹੋਆ, ਅਨਦਿਨ ਨਾਮ ਵਖਾਣੈ। ਏਕੋ ਪੜੈ ਏਕੋ ਨਾ ਬੁੱਝੈ, ਦੂਜਾ ਅਵਰ ਨ ਜਾਣੈ। ਖਟ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਜੋਗੀ ਸੰਨਿਆਸੀ, ਬਿਨ ਗੁਰ ਭਰਮ ਭੁਲਾਏ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਸੇਵਹਿ ਤਾਂ ਗਤ ਮਿਤ ਪਾਵਹਿ, ਹਰ ਜੀਉ ਮਨ ਵਸਾਏ। ਸੱਚੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਸਿਉ ਚਿਤ ਲਾਗੈ, ਆਵਣ ਜਾਣ ਰਹਾਏ। ਪੰਡਿਤ ਪੜ ਪੜ ਵਾਦ ਵਖਾਨੈ, ਬਿਨ ਗੁਰ ਭਰਮ ਬੁਲਾਏ। ਲੱਖ 84 ਫੇਰ ਪਿਆ, ਬਿਨ ਸ਼ਬਦੇ ਮੁਕਤ ਨ ਪਾਏ। ਜਾ ਨਉ ਚੇਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਗਤ ਪਾਏ, ਜਾਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮੇਲ ਮਿਲਾਏ। ਸਤ ਸੰਗਤ ਮਹਿ ਨਾਮ ਹਰ ਉਪਜੈ, ਜਾਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮਿਲੈ ਸੁਭਾਏ। ਮਨ ਤਨ ਅਰਪੀ ਆਪ ਗਵਾਈ, ਚੱਲਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਭਾਏ। ਸਦ ਬਲਿਹਾਰੀ ਗੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ, ਵਿਟਹੁ ਜੇ ਹਰ ਸੇਤੀ ਚਿਤ ਲਾਏ। ਸੋ ਬ੍ਰਾਹਮਣ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਜੋ ਬਿੰਦੇ, ਹਰ ਸੇਤੀ ਰੰਗ ਰਾਤਾ। ਪ੍ਰਭ ਨਿਕਟ ਵਸੇ ਸਭਨਾ ਘਟ ਅੰਤਰ, ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਵਿਰਲੇ ਜਾਤਾ। ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਮਿਲੇ ਵਡਿਆਈ, ਗੁਰ ਕੈ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਪਛਾਤਾ। ਮਾਇਆ ਮੋਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਕੀਨਾ, ਆਪੇ ਭਰਮ ਭੁਲਾਏ. What is being expressed poetically as Maya Moh Mere Prabh Kina means that duality, Maya Moh, which is the source of duality or a sense of duality, is an essential feature of how the world is really structured. The mind is a product of this duality. So it is inbuilt. And Gurbani often refers to this fracture of the mind, the subject-object split that the mind experiences when it emerges in this time-space continuum that we call the world. Duality simply means that we operate in a framework of opposites to make sense or to give meaning to the world around us and our relationship to it. And doubt, uncertainty, forgetfulness are a part of this framework. And that's why it says, Man mukh karam kare nahi bujjai. It's kind of unaware. Let's see what it's unaware about. There is this subject-object split that happens. And what happens then is the creation of an artificial center of cognition and action, if you will. And Gurbani calls this haume. It is an abstraction. It gives us the feeling that we are the center of subjective experience. And that is how indeed we have our subjective experience. And those that are wrapped around this subjective experience are called manmukhs, those who are locked into this abstract identity called haume. And this is our natural default state, the root forgetfulness. Because what happens when we come into this world is With the fracture, the authentic self, our source, gets split off, if you will, for want of a better word, from us. And that from that arises all doubt, which continues to infiltrate and seep into our daily life. And because the authentic self recedes from memory, the real source of our power and capacity remains unknown and untapped to us. That really is the meaning of Janam Birtha Goai, wasting life, because one is really not living up to one's potential, because one is saddled with doubt, one is saddled with ignorance, basically, root ignorance about who one really is and what one's purpose on this earth really is. And from there on, it's all downhill. Now, here's something very significant that Gurbani repeats over and over again. Gurbani is jag meh chanan, karam vase mane aaye. The speech or teachings of the Gur Enlightener is the light, is the wisdom in the world. It is received in the mind when the Enlightener is found. In other words, we have to be motivated to find the Enlightener as well. Now, this is significant because what Gurbani is really saying is that it is eternal wisdom that we are talking about, the essence of all religions and cultures, and that is always around. Gurbani cannot be identified with a specific faith tradition, even if you call it Sikhi. It transcends everything, all cultures, all religions, speaks to their essence. It is what is also called the perennial philosophy. It's woven into the texture of the universe. And we are part of the universe. In fact, we spring from it. So therefore, it is also woven. This enlightenment is in us, except that Maya cloaks it. That is how this passage begins. Maya moh mere Prabh Kina. It's a game that is being played, a very interesting game. So your real authentic self is being clothed. And then the Guru advises, Man re naam japo sukh hoye, gur pura salahiye, sehaj mile prabh soye. Naam, here it means self-knowledge. That has to be discerned and assimilated through the Guru's message, the instruction. So how do you do that? Well, for those of us who own Guru Nanak as Guru, for us we have the Shabad as text in the Guru Granth Sahib. That is the place to begin and to actually find association where some movement can be made together. And dare I say that our attempt to communicate with each other through this podcast, through a-sabad-a-day, is indeed the sangat that we are trying to create, so that we challenge each other's mental thoughts, processes, structures, and hopefully get breakthroughs. Now, this passage then goes on to give us examples of Kabir and Namdev. They are held up as exemplars of this process. Nama Shimba, Kabir Julaha, Pure Gurte Gatapai. The true enlightener, Pure Gur, the perfect enlightener, which eventually is yourself. That is within you. It is just a question of how do you tap that. You tap that by coming to the Guru as the Guru Granth, or as text available to you right now, which will show you the way to get in and to actually tap that eternal wisdom which is within you. With those thoughts, we leave you until the next time. Do ponder over the idea of what eternal wisdom really holds and what that means. Specifically, the notion that eternal wisdom is present all around us. It is not, Gurbani is not just confined to a tradition that we call Sikhism or Sikhi, that it transcends all of this. that is something worth considering. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.